Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas.
Thank you very much for watching.
Good morning. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is June 13th of 2022. Of course, I've made another change. I have moved the computer that was well, I did away with one computer. I moved the screen over here, so I have both, as you can see in the lower right hand picture here. Have both the screens over here. It was a little difficult with this angle of the desk turning this way, and two, I really wanted desk space here so I could spread things out. Like I've got this thing here. It's my parents' wedding book. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff in boxes that when my mother passed away, she was always asking me to, sit down with her and, look at the pictures so she could tell me who they were and answer questions or whatever. And I just kept saying, Betty, I'm busy. I'll do it some other time. Of course, she passed away, and now I have a whole bunch of pictures and a lot of questions now after, and I think that's the way it works. Young people you got your life, and now I'd like to know who some of these people are, and I'm confused sometimes about, my father had 7 brothers, and now at my age and everything, I see the picture and I'm, is that Vince? Is that Leo? Questions like that. So there are actually a lot of questions, but so there's a tip from an old fart to a young whippersnapper, make your mother or your father happy or whatever, and sit down and look at, well, of course you'll probably take them to YouTube or something and show them your stuff on YouTube or something. But anyways, I have both monitors over here, and I kicked them back into 1920 by 1080 format. Both of them were in 4K format. I do like looking at 4K video of, like Miami, where I spent 5 years down there. Some of the videos that are here someplace on YouTube of mine are places down there. But anyway, I can watch these 4K YouTube videos from years ago, and like in Miami, and I can see Collins Avenue and everything that I was filming as I was walking down it. And somebody else. Actually, I'm not watching my videos now. There's people or companies, I guess it's, that have somebody with a camera. I'm not sure if it's mounted on their hat or how it's working, but they walk around all the places in Miami and Las Vegas. I haven't been to Las Vegas, but I watch those videos in 4K. And like New York City, I've never been to New York City, but it's really a neat thing, especially if you've been there. Like Washington D.C., I was in Washington D.C. for 2 weeks, and so I've looked at a few 4K from there. Anyway, I moved the 2 monitors over here, and I retired that one computer, so I have one computer. I'm using the J-Link or whatever that one, I never can remember. The one that had, as soon as I got it, it was new, and it had the problem with the audio input from the 3.5 jack or whatever. And I purchased, instead of sending it back, which I really should have done, because I spent $100 for a Sound Blaster external card to solve the problem and other things. I should have really sent it back, but I didn't. I wanted to play with it. So anyway, that's the computer that's here, and I could run it in 4K, but I've got the 1980 by 1020. I've still got a bunch of stuff to put away, but like I said, I want to have this desk here so I can spread stuff out and do things. See what else? There's more to it than that. I've got 2 cameras going. The Avery Media and the Logitech Brio camera is way over there. When I say way, it's on that new mini tripod that I bought. And so here's the the desk that's running this way. And then there's a table that I pulled, I'm not sure, not a table like a kitchen table thing, but it's just anyway, there's some wood there, and I've got it over there. But I've got the capability of, just, it's a small tripod. I can move it around. Did I mention this? I think I did. Yeah. My mother and father. I never called them mother and father or dad or mom or anything like that. It was always Jim and Betty, because that's what they called each other, and that's when I was a kid, and that's what I used. I think my mother was kind of upset that I didn't call her mom or mother or whatever, and I didn't. I think I must have said sometime, well, no, I don't think I did. I should have said, Anyway, and then one time she showed up unexpected, first time she ever did that. I went to a Catholic grade school, and we were having a special service with us, and, Catholics or whatever, and in the church, and going through something, and it was Mother's Day, I believe. And my mother never went. At that time, she wasn't even a Catholic, but she never went. Well, there's times she went, some special occasion. My first Holy Communion, my baptism, my first Holy Communion, my confirmation, all these, but this was like a school day, and of course women had to wear, a hat or a scarf or something on their head. And so I was in this procession or whatever, and I looked over, and there she was, and she had this horrible green hat. I'm not sure where she got it. And unfortunately, I think I was in shock, and I don't think the expression on my face was, represented what it should have. I think it came across like, oh my God, what are you doing here, or something like that. But anyway, this here, my parents' wedding thing. There's also, now I've scanned, now I took a picture with my cell phone, and they came out really well, of the pages, and of this book, Our Wedding Bond. And I see, which I didn't know until the other day when I finally looked at this thing, our date of our engagement, December 25th of 1939. I was born in March of 1941. Let's see, December would be, so it'd be 40, you know, yeah. There was, I think more of, I think I would have guessed in the past, you know. Anyway, what's interesting is, and I won't show this to you now because I've got it on here. One of these days, one of these days soon, I'll just have it on here. There's a picture of my mother with her wedding dress on, and then there's a shower and parties given by, and it tells, you know, Mrs. S.C. Davis. So that would be my father's sister. He had 3 sisters, and she married, I forget his first name, Davis, and he was an orphan, and they had 1 child about the same age as I was. A boy. Did I say a boy? And so it was held at her home, it says. All of my father's sisters, the 3 of them, they were really, really nice women. But now on this list there is the name of, you know, the people who attended the shower and the party or whatever, and what they, you know, gave, you know, the present or whatever. And I think this says gown. My mother was poor, by the way. Well, that was, you know, times were tough back then. My mother was, you know, very poor. Her father had 2 kids. He had a boy first, and then my mother, and he divorced, and he paid no child support. And the story is that, you know, he got drug in at least once to the court back then to pay child support, and he told the judge, you know, go fuck yourself, and no, he wasn't going to, you know, and nothing happened to him. He never paid a penny of child support, and that was back during the Depression times and stuff like that. But anyway, let's see. So it says, I just noticed this for the first time, it says gown. So my mother, I am sure, wore a gown that Shirley wore. Let's see which camera is the best. Let's see. But it's interesting to see these names. And the things they gave: pillowcases, towels. There's some I can't read, you know. Ashtray set, pictures, washcloths, scarf. I think washcloths, I think. Now, on here is Kathleen Huber, and my father, they had 7 brothers and 3 sisters in the thing, and so each of those kids, you know, they had kids that they played with that were the same, you know, the same age as them. So Oscar Huber was, you know, the age of my father, and they went to St. Vincent's School, which I went to St. Vincent's School, you know, also. And Oscar Huber and my father went, when they graduated from grade school, went to the Conception Seminary to become priest. My father left. He said, I don't want any part of this. And it took him a while, though, because I guess he wrote home and told his parents that he, well, you know, and they were expecting to have a priest in the family, and so he just finally showed up at home. But so the Huber family, they had a bunch of kids too. So I'm guessing that Kathleen Huber was probably a sister to, you know, Oscar Huber or whatever. The other, let's see. Oh, so I guess it's someplace, I guess it's for the wedding here. The bridal party, the wedding day. Here's their marriage certificate. 6th of June, 19... Okay, I don't think it gives the year. Oh, 1940. Oh no, what do you have to see down here? Anyway, St. Vincent's Church. Guessed it's a ceremony and reception. My mother's mother was there, Hallie Stallsworth. Mrs. William B. Stallsworth. That was the wife, no, it'd be before, would be the William B. Wilma Stallsworth, Therese, or those are family names of country people or whatever. Now here's Hugo R. Huber, and that must have been the Huber that graduated with my father and went to the seminary, and he remained in the seminary and became a priest, and then he was the pastor at St. Vincent's Church and school when I went there for 2 years, the fifth and sixth grade. And then when I was trying to get into this, when John F. Kennedy was elected and I was trying to get into the Peace Corps, I put Huber down as Father Huber down as a reference. And I didn't, because I wasn't going to church, you know. The people doing the background investigation, they couldn't find anybody that knew me. And then they wanted me to fill out the form again, and I didn't do it. Because I'd heard stories that you were going to have to be in excellent shape and all that kind of stuff in order to get in, which turned out not to be true, in order to get into the Peace Corps. I'd taken the Peace Corps test and aced it. And I mentioned that before, I think in more than one video here, that it was as if I had been asked to write my own test. It was all stuff that I knew, and none of the stuff that I would have had a problem with, So I'm sure they must have changed it, because that was like the first time the test was given across the United States. And anyway, Father Huber had been transferred to Dallas, Texas, and he's the priest who, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and people were waiting, for news about how the president was. There was news people and everything outside of the hospital. And then he came out, Father Huber came out of the hospital and went over in the news media to ask him, Father, what's going on? How's the president, And he said, I just gave him the last rites, and John F. Kennedy passed away. And then the news went out to the world, that President Kennedy had been assassinated. A lot of these names are names that I heard my parents talk about, or growing up they would read the obituaries, and it seemed like just about every day my father would say, oh, that's so and so. Oh, he was, well, and then he'd say to Betty, that was so and so. I thought that was kind of strange. And then later in life, for a while, I, fairly recently, 20 years ago, 30 years ago or something, I found myself online reading the obituaries from Kansas City Star or the Times, I forget. I think it's probably the Times, the morning paper. That, anyway, how did I get on this subject? Don't know. Anyway, you are going to see I could put this at the end of, nah, I'm not going to do it. How long have I been talking here? 21 minutes. My grown son, you may be able to hear him snoring in the background. He has some problems, and now he has a new one. Occasionally, he has a nightmare and a blood curdling scream scares the crap out of me, because just the other day, I just gone to bed, just got in bed, and I think I was just starting, and his room is right next to my room, and there was this blood curdling scream, and then I think he usually jumps up right away, and he, I think, took off for the kitchen. Not sure about that because but he's never had anything like that before. He's refusing right now to see the doctor that he needs to see, and I'm wanting him, of course, to see the doctor again. But I told him, mention that, and anyway, back to both monitors. Okay. So a lot of people here in Texas, because of the Texas power grid, and I've made some videos on that. So, and my ex-wife, we share this apartment in order to save money with my grown son. She's worrying every day, and the other day we lost power. We've had like 104 degrees, 107 degrees. That's about 40 Celsius, in that range. She's worrying every day because we had to go through a couple years ago when the Texas power grid failed, and I forget what the final number of people that died in Texas. I think it was about 80, because in the beginning they didn't have that high of a number. It was it was wintertime, and we were without power for about 3.5 days. Almost all my tropical fish died. I think there was I think the only thing that survived were the shrimp. Two Plecostomus. I really liked Plecostomus fish. When we had a tropical fish shop, that was one of my favorite fish. They were difficult or impossible to raise, tank raise back then. Now, over the years, different variations of the Plecostomus fish have been discovered, and some of them are very easy to breed in a tank. So that would be, but I got rid of the tank that I had set up here. I was one of these people that never had to go to the doctor. Well, probably should have gone to doctors, but never did, and was in good health until I wasn't in good health. And about age 65, then my health problems started hitting. Let's see. Oh, I'm not sure I've got these hooked in correctly yet. I haven't missed. When I got this, the intention was I was going to use it on the other computer. Now I'm down to using this one computer, so not sure if I'm going to, because I'm using the Elgato Wave 3 with this computer, so I don't need, I really don't need the headphones. What else? I've made a lot of improvements to this room, and I still have a ton of stuff to put away. And I think the big step a few months from now is I'm going to get another desk from probably the same people on Amazon. I have one of their desks, I forget how long, and then one running this way. And there is room over there that I can put another other desk, but I'll get one that's a little bit longer over there. Then I could put some stuff on there. The way things are now, every time I need a cable or anything, I have to dig through everything and throw it. The only place to put it is on my bed. Now I have some space here, by the way, but although I haven't hooked up my printer yet here, and I have a separate scanner, I haven't hooked it up. Well, the printer scans also, but then I have just a scanner also. So, I don't know, by the time I get this stuff, it'll be a mess again. I just heard my son coughing, so he's woke up, so I guess I'll wake up check in with him. So I'm going to tell you some stories that I haven't told you at some point. And the time I was arrested, and what else? There's several stories that I want to tell you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.